haven't heard the audio, but I've heard all of the recaps about it, and I've read all of the recaps about it. So I feel like I know everything that was said in it. And it sounds like that McCloughan was very, very gracious, and he definitely took the high road.
Are we going to play highlights? Or are we going to play a significant portion?
Whatever you guys want to do. I'm up for it.
I mean, that if he was to say anything bad publicly about this,
he wants to get hired again. You don't want to. It's a bad look to be trashing the organization.
Yeah.
So
all right, let's just go through some of the highlights. Now, he did talk about Kirk Cousins and about signing him and whether they should sign him long term and whether they tried to sign him long term. Here's Scot McCloughan, the now former Redskins GM, on with Grant and Danny yesterday.
Well, I hope they do get a long-term deal done, because I'm telling you, he's high character. He's a good football player. He's smart. He's a good teammate. He's got leadership qualities. You know, and I've been around Brett Favre's. I've been around Russell Wilson's. I've been around Matt Hasselbeck's. And those are the characteristics that stand out, because he's got talent. You know, he's got arm talent. You know, he can move around and make plays with his feet. You know, it's too bad it didn't happen. But, you know, that was an organizational thing.
Did he also say that he believed that Kirk kind of has maxed out on this team? Something like that about his potential? Do we have that
Either
clip?
Grant or Danny asked him about his ceiling. I don't know whether he intimated that he was brushing up against it or not. I heard basically the whole interview. I was in my car when it happened. I don't think he was trying to denigrate Kirk and say that he had maxed out.
I think they'll look for that. Before they get to that, it was interesting what he said about Jay Gruden and talent evaluating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
as compared to all the other coaches he worked with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, these are scrambling over there.
The thing that's cool about this organization, because I've been to 3 other ones. The head coach, and Jay, is a good evaluator. He can see it and identify it, and I leaned on him, he leaned on me, and knowing I wasn't there, he can still see it, and I was with Holmgren, he didn't want any part of it, Pete Carroll didn't want any part of it, Mike Nolan didn't want any part of it, Mike Singletary didn't want any part of it, but Jay really, really studies. He watches a lot of tape, and he can identify, which helped me out quite a bit, because you can always use good opinions from people that can see it, because it's not an exact science, but I thought they did a good job. They're going to be fine this year. And I know it's a tough division. I know they got a tough schedule, but they'll be fine.
Is he claiming those other coaches don't watch tape?
No, I think he just is saying that they don't want a personnel say. Like they just want a coach. They want him to pick the players. They'll coach him up. That's
and
what
those coaches that he worked with were Pete Carroll, right, in Seattle,
Holmgren,
and Holmgren.
Carroll.
But Holmgren wanted to be involved in personnel.
I
but
thought
maybe
so.
not when he worked with him.
Maybe later in his
Well,
career
definitely
he did.
Yeah.
Maybe it was later.
By the way, were Grant and Danny able to purchase the tan jacket?
I know that Thami DeLay is actively trying to raise funds on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I threw $50 his way last night, but I think he's still got a ways to go to his goal.
They had to go over 1,000, right?
I think over 1,000, and if they fall short of it, they're going to donate the money to the National MS Society. So either way, it works.
Did McCloughan ever talk about why he was fired? Did Grant and Danny ever ask him, pinpoint
that
why?
wasn't allowed.
It wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
But we do have the clip of where he talks about Kirk's ceiling.
You know what? I think his ceiling's where it's at right now with people around him. He's a good football player. He's a quarterback that's proven that he can win a division. And that's hard to find. And have a chance for 2 years in a row. That's what you look for. But again, that's why the draft's so important, because you got to surround everybody with good football players. It's not just offense, defense, but it's also special teams, and there's good players there, and there's good character there, there's good chemistry there. And that's what I try to build and build and build. And, I wish I could just, been here longer to see it come to fruition, but I can't, so it is what it is. But still, I'm going to pull for him. I don't have any grudge. It is what it is. Again, it's a marriage that didn't work.
I would have a grudge, personally.
Well,
I would have so many grudges.
I bet you he has a grudge.
publicly he doesn't have a grudge.
He's not going to tell Grant and Danny,
When
does.
he's off the phone, there may be grudges being carried around.
It's really weird that he decided to talk, but maybe it's just just trying to put his best a spin on this whole debacle as he can to get back into some organization.
And what he said about Kirk is basically that his ceiling is where it is.
Maybe.
Which, is a guy who threw for 5,000 yards, basically.
That's a pretty high ceiling.
Listen, I think if you're good enough to get to the playoffs.
It's hard to throw for 6.
It sounds like he doesn't think that Kirk's a guy who can carry a team on his own. You need to surround him with talent. Well,
I think that's probably true. I think that's probably true.
There's only a few guys who
how many
can carry
guys
a team
can?
on their own.
I don't disagree
Aaron
with that.
Rodgers,
I mean, he's not Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He's not Tom Brady. He's not those guys.
If you surround him with
Wait, Tom Brady does have talent.
Sure, but they're no-namers. Oftentimes.
They become
names. Gronk is a name, and he's silly.
He's going to be throwing
Hall
to
of Famer.
Brandon
I
Cooks
feel like
this season.
Julian Edelman would be a good player on just about any team he's on.
Danny Amendola.
He had some really good receivers over the years, but everyone agrees that Kirk Cousins is not those guys. He's next tier down.